Thanks everybody for being here today. Obviously, great to be back in football. We've had some great weather here in Evanston, so it's been a lot of great work that we've been able to get in and get done. And as we start getting closer and closer here to game day, I think the guys' level of excitement is going up and up. So just a lot of work ahead over these next 2.5 weeks to get ready for the opener, and we'll diligently get back on the field tomorrow and Friday, and then we do a walkthrough this Saturday, and then get rock and rolling next week. So with that, I'll love to answer any and all questions that y'all have.
We'll start with Peter Warren. Reminder to just say your name and the media outlet you are with. Go ahead, Peter.
Thanks, Ray. Coach Fitz, obviously, Jared Thomas graduates. Rashawn Slater's opted out. Who are some guys who are really stepping up into some leadership positions on the offensive line?
Well, we've got a lot of talent coming back with Gunnar Vogel and Nick Urban. Sam Jarek has played a lot of football for us. Those three guys, are kind of our three wily veterans that have been in a bunch of games. And so I see great leadership up there in that group. I probably see as competitive of a room as maybe we've had, through about 12 guys competing right now to play. And we'll see how that kind of transpires here over the next 2.5 weeks before game day.
Is
Mike Berman?
you sort of
Go ahead, Peter. Finish up.
I was going to say, you said it's really competitive. What has made it so competitive?
The ability to practice. It's been great. It's kind of tough as an old lineman to compete when you're in shorts. So it's been great. It's been great competition, and we'll see how things continue to go. Like I said, we got 2.5 weeks until we get ready to play. So we got a lot of work to do between now and then, not only in that position, but every position.
Mike Berman.
Hey, Pat, Mike Berman from NBC5. Hope everything's great. How would you compare what's going on right now, just the attitude, the flow of practice, all that stuff, to how it might have been during a traditional summer when you would be getting ready for a season opener?
Yeah, Mike, it's very different, from a standpoint of just the testing that we do daily, and really thankful for our partners that we're working with every day. We get to see them every morning. And so it's starting to become part of the Wildcat family. So we're really thankful for that. And, from that change to, you've got limited practice opportunities. It's a balance between getting enough work in mentally, which you can pretty much control. And then the balance is the physical side of it, to make sure your guys are ready physically. They're calloused, so to speak, is a phrase that I usually use a lot. But having enough contact, but not too much contact. So, it's a delicate balance, but our guys are our guide, and we usually work pretty diligently to having conversations with how our guys are feeling, where we're at with things. So it's been good so far.
Dave Bennett.
Hey, Fitz. Dave Bennett, WGN Radio. I guess this kind of speaks to what Mike asked you about, but do you feel more of a sense of normalcy since you put the pads on and got into more of a routine? And just to follow up also, anyone not participating that you expected to be there?
Yeah, right now we'll keep our focus on the guys that we've got here for today's media availability.
Okay.
So I'll have a release at some point. That won't be today, but I'll make a release on guys that have decided to opt out. But we fully support them and their decision, and it's for a myriad of reasons. And so you work through that. I guess I'd call it kind of the new normal, Dave. Yeah, when we're practicing football, we're able to really do what we've typically been able to do in somewhat of a modified way. But meetings, we're still wearing masks, socially distanced. We've had to adjust our meeting rooms. I've addressed the team and special teams meeting and unit meetings have all been on Zoom. So we have not had a full squad meeting in our team auditorium, things of that nature. So it's kind of the new normal, so to speak. And then we'll trigger into that, also when we get ready to travel, and then game day ops. So all those things are being finalized right now, but feel really good about kind of what our plan is. And then I think if we've learned anything here watching the other teams is your plan has to be ready to be adjusted because, obviously the virus and the pandemic are real, and we've got to put every policy and procedure we can in place to keep our guys healthy and safe, and then just get ready to adjust accordingly.
Ella?
Hi, I'm Ella Brockway from the Daily Northwestern. You kind of just mentioned it in a little bit of your last answer, but have you been following what the rest of the NFL still in terms of postpones and cancellations and adjusting plans, and how does that affect?
I lost you a little bit there, Ella, but I think you said, have I been following the other, what's been going on nationally and all that stuff? Is that basically what your question was? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Dr. Mianis and our medical staff, Kevin Kikugawa, our guides on everything we're doing medically. We're trying to steal a percentage here and a percentage there. That's why we're not meeting collectively. That's why we've adjusted our meeting rooms, our weight room, our entrance in and out of the locker room, eating at Nona Joe's, our cafeteria. All these things they've all been adjusted, but then ultimately it comes down to all of our social choices and decisions. And that's on us as a coaching staff too. So, I sent out a text to some very close friends a week and a half ago. I said, hey, we're going into a pseudo bubble. Hope all is well. It sounds like there's going to be some nice weather for golf. Enjoy it. Happy Halloween, happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. See you then. So, that's the reality. I go from home to work, back home, and then, like, for example, Stacy and I have had conversations with our boys about you got to stay in a small group of friends. This is what we're doing. And we're all kind of approaching it that way. So it is what it is. And just really proud of our guys. It's going to really rely on their choices once we get into game day. As I've done a lot of research, talked to people privately. I've got some pretty good ideas on why some of these postponements have happened. And we'll address those. We've been ongoingly addressing. As this thing has kind of transpired, we've talked about those. But I also have a little bit more facts that maybe you guys don't have that I'll talk specifically to our entire football family about privately as we get closer to the opener, and then as we go through the season with some issues some other teams have had around game day, or around weekends with games and things of that nature. So, like I said, it's going to be fluid, and you got to be prepared to adjust.
Louis?
Hey, Fitz, Louis Vicaire, Wildcat Report.
Hello, Louis. How you doing?
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to be seen.
Right now, all players, as I understand, are going to retain a year of eligibility, whether they play or not, right? So how does that impact your decisions regarding playing time for freshmen and really for anybody? And then how does it impact, the 2020 recruiting class moving forward and managing scholarships and all that kind of stuff?
Always deep thoughts with Louis V. I appreciate the great question.
I try.
Yeah, unbelievable. So for the first time in my career, everybody's eligible. We're going to play everybody. So that will transpire and unfold the way that it's going to unfold. So everybody will play. So that's exciting, I think, for our entire roster. How does it impact the 2020 recruiting class? Like I said, I think I said it last time, we're somewhat in a little bit of a hold right now. We feel great about the class on where it's at. I'm going to let kind of this year kind of transpire and see how things go moving forward. And then we'll make some decisions. And obviously the NCAA did the right thing, from a standpoint of granting eligibility opportunities moving forward for our student athletes. But at the end of the day, from a standpoint of when I have to make decisions, I still have to get whether or not I'm going to get relief on scholarships, if I am or I'm not, and how all that's going to transpire here locally. So my focus right now is getting ready to play in the opener. We're obviously talking about those things and having discussions, but no decisions have been made. So we're just excited to get ready to play.
Thanks.
You bet.
Kevin Sweeney?
Hi, Kevin Sweeney from WNUR Sports. Coach, I asked Andrew Marty last week about kind of the process in the 40 days or so when the season was canceled and what you guys worked on. He said he really went back to fundamentals. Can you talk about what the focus was during that period in terms of player development with your guys?
Yeah. Well, you're talking about after we kind of got shut down after a couple practices, Kev?
Right, yeah, after the shutdown, before the season rebooted.
Well, as a program, I wanted to give our guys some space. So we took I don't know how many weeks off. We took about 2 or 3 weeks off, and I really basically said to the entire football program, listen, I'll see you guys when school starts. And we had some guys show up that week, and throughout that process, then our medical kind of policies and procedures got tweaked and changed a little bit, where there's basically a 5-day onboarding process if you leave, the greater Evanston area. So we had to work through that with some guys. So we were working with maybe at some positions we're down a few numbers initially, but I think it was a great job by our players and by our staff of kind of what this season may be, and talking about contingency plans. Maybe we have a lack of depth here because of whatever might happen down the road. How are we going to adjust, and what are our plans, and then how will we adjust practices? So I guess the word of 2020, maybe one of the words will be fluid. This has been a pretty fluid 40 days. And so, but once we kind of got school started up, we got rocking, and I feel really good with where we're at mentally. We've got a little bit more work to do physically here over the next week and a half. And then, obviously we're in the game week where we start talking about really preparing for the opener. So we got about another week and a half worth of physical prep to get done before then.
Larry Snyder.
Hey, Coach, Larry Snyder, Channel 7. Kind of a tough question here. You're being a Sox and a Cubs fan, and how they got both of those teams, how they got through their 60-game schedule, and they didn't go deep into the playoffs, but it was considered a success for both teams because the Cubs didn't have any tested positive, and the Sox only won at the beginning of the year. How do you adjust? I mean, I know you want to win games. You're ultra competitive. I get that. Is that a success to get through the year? Is that how you look at it as well?
Well, first and foremost, Larry, from a health and safety standpoint, no question, we want to be able to keep our guys as healthy as they can. So to me, that, from a macro level, that is absolutely a successful season if we're able to accomplish that. It's our policies, it's our procedures, it's the way we execute those, and then obviously the social choices that we make, and we're all responsible for that. And so are our families and our loved ones and our friends kind of around our entire football program. So I know that we're all working hard to make great choices and wear masks and have social distancing and great hygiene. So, control those controllables, and then making decisions and choices on how we travel, the way we're running the day-to-day is all with the health and safety is a priority. But when we get out in the field, our number one goal is to win. We're playing to win. We're playing to win the Big Ten West. We're playing to win a Big Ten championship. I mean, that's what I think all 14 teams are doing. But that's the micro, and the big picture and the macro is the health and safety of our guys and our entire football program.
Will Carmen.
Hey, Coach. Last year when we were having these press conferences, it was widely presumed that Hunter Johnson was going to be the starter, and you shut down those rumors saying you had, it was a legitimate quarterback competition. It was still ongoing. And this year it's widely presumed that Peyton Ramsey is going to be the starter. So my question for you is, how does your attitude compare to last year?
I'd like to win more games than we did, so that's my attitude.
Thank you.
Thanks for that deep question, Will. I appreciate you. Louis has taught you well. Lou, he can write for you, buddy.
Eli Carp.
Eli Carp from Inside NU. So as you approach your 100th career win, what's that milestone going to mean to you? And how have you changed as a coach and a leader and grown since, 2006?
Yeah. Hey, Eli. Well, first of all, I want to, any type of milestones like that, it makes you first and foremost think about our players, and the guys that I've had the privilege to coach. And it's been great. I mean, it's been a true blessing, and I feel very, very thankful for all of them and for their families. It's really special when you kind of start to think back about that. On a personal note, I'm kind of mad that it's taken this long. As a competitor, quite frankly, I look more at the other number, and it really ticks me off that there's probably about 50 games that we should have won that we didn't. So that number is way too large. And in the next, 101 wins on our way to 200, I hope we get there a lot faster, and we don't, have those 50 games that drive me crazy thinking about. There's some games that, hey, the other team just played better than you, and they won, or you played so poorly that it really wasn't a game. You throw those out, but there was a bunch of other ones that you look back and make coaching decisions differently. Always hindsight's 2020. How have I changed as a leader? I think I'm a much better listener than I ever have been. I think it's a challenge as a young head football coach, I think to prove yourself, I think you want to be able to be someone that exudes confidence and belief in yourself first. But it's kind of like that. It's almost like quarterback player. Any play on the field, what comes first, confidence or experience? And no matter what, it got debated back when I was 31. Is he ready to be a head coach? He's never coordinated. Well, when you coordinate, you've never been a head coach either. So I just think you really learn that it's a different role. It's a different position within the staff, within the athletic department, within the university, within the alumni, within our community, within the Big Ten, within the landscape of college football. So when you look at that big macro aspect of it, I think I've changed, I've grown, and I'm just incredibly thankful for our players and for our staff and for all their families, to everything that they've meant to our program. And it's because of them that we've had the success, and a lot less because of me.
Drew Schott.
Drew Shaw from the Daily Northwestern. Kind of shifting back to the quarterback room, TJ Green's obviously back for his 6th year after getting injured against Stanford. What's it like not only having him practice on the field with his familiarity of the offense, but also kind of just as a veteran presence in the quarterback room?
Yeah, Drew, it's been great to have TJ back out there practicing this week. It's been fun. So happy for him. I mean, he has worked just tirelessly to get back from this injury, and to see him back on the field. I know he's having fun. I know he's probably a little bit sore right now being back on the field here midweek, but just really happy for him. Absolutely ecstatic. It's been great to have a veteran like Peyton. The way Andrew showed toughness last year at the end of the year, and Hunter battling through injuries. That group has been, I think, just really, really focused on trying to improve their own individual games, to learn and grow in the offense, and then to start to develop their own leadership style within the program, within the offense. So, but specifically for TJ, it's just been a long road, and just really happy for him.
Paul Banks.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for doing this. Paul Banks from sportsbank.net.
Hi, Paul. What's up, buddy?
Doing good. Staying safe. My question, it's a deeper one, kind of like Louis asks, but beyond wins and losses and everything, is just being able to play and get on the field, given everything we've all been through and all the obstacles along the way, is just getting to have a season, is that going to feel like a victory in itself, do you think?
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're 1-0 right now from getting that back out to practice. I was really concerned that might not happen. But, just thankful for the diligent work of the conference, of our presidents and chancellors, and then the ADs and our other head coaches collectively as a group to get this accomplished. It's been a long road to get back on the practice field, and now to be, in the teens, whatever it is, 17 days, I think, till the opener. It's really, really exciting, and it's going to be great. I think our guys are going to be stoked. It's going to be a little bit different, right, without fans in the building, and so I think Galley came up with the "bring your own juice," phrase or all that. But you just kind of watch games. I'll watch games here starting on Thursday. Go Bears, by the way. But I'll watch games this Thursday, and you see the different environments, and you can just see certain teams are really excited to be there. They're kind of creating their own juice and having energy and having fun. And there's other guys that look like they're getting a root canal. So I don't know. I think it's a blessing that we get a chance to play. And I know our guys will be very excited to get back out on the field and play the game they love.
Jeff Hirsch. I love it.
Coach, Jeff Hirsch with Evanston Now. Question on if there are any cancellations in the Big Ten and there's no wiggle room in the schedule, no bye weeks. Should the team that I guess you could say is responsible for the cancellation because of COVID have to forfeit?
Jeff, the conversations that we've had, at least what's been articulated to me from the conference is that if a game's not played, it will be recognized as a no contest. So that's what is my current understanding. I'll go back to one of the words of 2020 of being fluid. I don't know if that'll change. But I just think from the way that we went about making sure that we had daily testing and the avenues all in place from a medical standpoint, there had to be obviously some games lost and some time lost and some flexibility in the schedule. So it's my understanding currently that will be a no contest, which means that the game never happened.
Thank you.
You bet.
Eric LaBelle.
Hey, Fitz, Eric Brinson Lobel from WNR Sports. You talk about bring your own juice, and something, as you mentioned, a lot of your players have been talking about during these press conferences the last couple of weeks. From a coaching perspective, what's been the biggest difference for you this year in terms of coaching intangibles like bringing energy on game day?
Well, biggest change, hang on. I got to wear this Insta Shield at practice. One of our great professors, so I'm going to be wearing this bad boy on game day. So that's been a big change. So that's, I mean, there's just been a ton of change. I mean, really, we had walkthrough today, everybody's in masks, you know, all different types of changes that have happened, and they've all been directed. And quite frankly, you know, when you look at what our medical team has had to go through and do, we're just really thankful for them. I mean, it's been a long road to get to this point. And we understand there's going to continue to be tweaks and changes. And our attitude has just been, hey, whatever Doc says and Kevin Kikugawa says, that's what goes, and let's go execute it. And if we have questions, ask the questions to make sure we're all on the same page. So it's just been a lot of change, but it's just like I said about our guys on game day, we're just fired up to get an opportunity to play. And, you know, I feel the same way. Feel very fortunate to have an opportunity to coach a team this year, and look forward to going out and competing to the best of our ability.
Mike Berman.
It's what, you know, Ramsey is a guy who's been through the ringer in the league. What is he showing you as he's come on campus and brought all of his experience to your team?
Yeah, it's exactly what he's brought, Mike. He's brought experience. He's been through a bunch of Big Ten games, Big Ten battles. He's a veteran. You know, he's a guy that's been out in the arena. You could tell that, you know, he's played in Big Ten games. And so I think his comfort level and who he is and what his game is very high from his experience level. So it's been fun to watch that. And now, like the rest of the quarterbacks, learning the offense and kind of going from there.
Eli?
Well, so I guess a question about logistics when it comes to, say, not just away games, but mainly away games. What types of things are you guys considering, you know, to change operation-wise, whether that's, I don't know, going the day of the game, trying to limit hotel stays, taking more buses to space people out? What types of things have been discussed?
All. I mean, the good news is all, I call it the UPS of what we do, the logistics of what we're doing. That's got nothing to do with the head ball coach. So I just coach football and get our guys motivated to play. That's on this gentleman named Cody Shada, our director of football operations. So tomorrow we'll have our kind of 2-week out debrief to our 36-hour kind of game day routine. A couple of conversations I've had, everything that's been going to be tweaked and changed is all for trying to steal a percentage here, a percentage there, to try to make sure we keep our guys as healthy and safe as we can. When I say percentages, it's like, all right, if we're going to go on the plane, do we really need to keep the middle seat open? Well, you know what? We recommend that you do. Even though we're all negative on the plane, that's what we should do. Should we wear masks when we're in meetings? Yes. You know what I mean? So we're constantly having that type of communication. But the health and safety of our guys is the driving force, and kind of go from there. Are we going to go the day of the game? I don't know about that. That would be a concern. Maybe for a night game, but I don't know when we're playing. You guys know when we're playing? I don't know when we're playing. I think it's the 24th. I don't have what time, you know. So until we know all those logistics, we can't get everything finalized. But I'm sure you guys are all on Twitter, so you'll probably know before I do. So.
All right, last one, Peter Warren.
Peter Warren, the Daily Northwestern. Coach, have you had discussed with the other coaches on your staff whether it'll be changes from last year or just changes in general? Who will be coaching from up top in the box, or who will be on the field, both just the differences on staff as well as potential COVID-related issues?
Yeah, you know, Peter, we've had all those types of discussions. So what happens if I end up, unfortunately, getting the virus and I can't coach for 2 weeks? You know, we'll kick into that plan. You know, what happens if Mike Bajakian or Mike Hankwitz or Jeff Jenick end up having an issue? Boom, we go into this plan. We've kind of talked it through each specific position coach on exactly how we would execute and adjust. And so we've got plans in place for that, that we've already discussed. As far as who's up and who's down, you know, defensively, it'll be pretty much the same that we've had. And then offensively, I think that's on the to-do list for the end of this week for exactly who's on first, what's on second, and so on and so forth. So, like I said, we got a week and a half until the opener and until game week for the opener. So we're still working through all those specific logistics as we move forward.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Ray, thank you. You are the best. It's great to see everybody. And the next time we talk, it'll be game week. So enjoy your weekend. If you haven't been outside, it is a picture perfect Chicago day. So go enjoy it. All right. Especially you, Louis V. You need to get some sun. Go Cats.